My name is Ruth Mthabine, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I call myself that because I'm doing in different businesses. I'm in logistics, I'm in retail, and I hope I'll be able to remember all of them. But yes, I never thought I would achieve all of these things that I've achieved. However, I've been very, very intentional about my growth and also me getting to where I am. And after I've put together a plan and also seeing the vision and seeing the end results of where I wanted to be, it was a little bit easier for me to focus on where I wanted to be. And I think it is possible for young people. If they can dream it, they can do it. Actually, I just happened to find myself in business. I was not intentional, as in when we first started. My first business, I was a young mother with two little children, and I started with transporting kids. And when we started, my intent was that I didn't want my kids to use public transport. So I got a little Atos and got a driver to say, please take my kids to school. However, my friends started asking, can you please take our kids as well? And before I knew it, there was a whole lot of 7, and from 7 it was 14. And I was like, okay, this can be a business. And that's how I got myself into the transport space. When I started, my first business I was transporting kids. However, it was not just your normal moving kids from A to B. I wanted it to stand out, and at some point I was available to run the business myself. So I would pick up kids for women, specifically women that were in the corporate space. So you'll be stuck in traffic, stuck in the boardroom, or sometimes you're not able to take your little one to the doctor's rooms. So I was available. When you call even during the day and say, oh, Ruth, we have a crisis at school, my son or my child is sick, whatever, I'll go fetch them and take them to the doctor's rooms. So by the time you come out, you will meet me there. So I think that was a bigger seller for me, and that's how we started. I don't want to be talking numbers. However, I made parents see the value of what I was giving them. So you couldn't see it as a transport service. It was a full-fledged service. So I knew that there were a lot of transport services in my area, and parents were looking for something very different, more especially your middle-aged class women. They were looking not just for transport, but they were looking for a full-fledged service. So if I am to say, I will pick your child from school, but you need to know that I am available throughout the day. So if there's any crisis, you can just call me and I'll be able to assist you. And that's what people were looking for. And we were able to set ourselves apart. And that's how the business took off. It was not just transport service. And that's where I also built very good relationships with parents. And some of the businesses that I'm running today is from the people that I met during the time when I was running the kids' pickup transport. Young people need to know that relationships is the new currency. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't relate well with people, if you don't have good relationships, you can keep your money, because it may take you somewhere, but having good relationships with people will open doors for you. So relationships, I always say, people are doors. For you to get to where you want to be, you will need someone to open the door for you. So it's important to have very good relationships with people. Look, for me, it's a relationship that's rooted in godly principles. And it's very easy to find friends that you will call and scanner and just gossip and talk about the weather and everything around. But you need friends or relationships that will connect you. Destiny relationships that will propel you and move you from where you are at. And also you need relationships that wishes you well. People who would get the best out of you. People that when you talk to them, They would encourage you to go for whatever you want to go. Not that, you know, those relationships that are very draining. You talk to someone even over the phone, by the time you finish with them, it's like you don't even know whether you want to go on or what you want to do. You need to be careful with relationships. We need relationships that are aligned to where you want to go. So this is one thing that's very close to my heart. Akona Teens Foundation was established in 2017, I think 2018. This was in honor of our son who passed on in 2017. Yeah, it was a very tough time. And personally, I never thought I could survive that. However, I was intentional by wanting to know what was God's purpose for that season in my life. And because we had lost a son, we wanted to do something that would impact sons. So the intent initially was meant for boys. However, it grew and God gave us a direction on how to grow it. So we realized that by establishing the foundation, we're able to reach out to many sons. And some of them, we still have them today, sons that are still around us. We've helped them to grow in their leadership roles at a young age. We would support them, and we've created beautiful partnerships with other organizations that were dealing with young boys then. However, we've now grown to an all-encompassing where we are intentional about helping young people, whether a boy child or a girl child. So Akona Teens Leadership Foundation, it's meant to build strong leadership characters for young people so that they can move to what God really wants them to be. Look, I'm from the old school, the Gen Z story. I'm still trying to figure out how do we, as a parent or as I will call myself an elderly person, how do we accommodate the Gen Zs? And it's also a very good thing because there's a lot of, I'm speaking from experience, where there's a lot of friction when it comes to us meeting each other halfway or understanding how the generation comprehend and perceive and view things, even from my perspective. There's been a lot of friction, but I think we can all work together to complement each other because honestly, we are all from different eras. Okay, so most of them from the rural areas, all they have is just a dream. And this is a dreaming of things that maybe they've never really seen or even touched. But they have hope that it is possible to reach to that space that they've never really been physically. And for me, that was very inspiring to say, I'm from the villages myself, I'm from the rural areas, to say it is possible. You don't have to have seen it for you to physically or even try to attain it. But if you can dream it and keep it in your heart, it is possible to reach where your dream is. And I think that's really basically that. But most of them, they're not informed. As much as they've got dreams, they don't even know how to. So there's no how will I get there. And that's where we came in to say, we see you have got a dream, you have potential, you are studying or you're trying. However, we would like to hold your hand so that we can help you get there because we are there. So what I would like to say, Kavan Lavancha, loko kurina nzilo nzeni kambili yawe wayisekela you utibona uhumelela kuma munhu leyi u langutelaka ka yena u langutisa ka yena u dyondza. And I'm sure swi ta ku pfumelela ku u fikelela la milorho ya wena lavaka kona. If you're a young person out there, you're fired up, you're burning, you know that there's more to this life than what you are currently going through or what you're experiencing. Look up to someone, pick someone that you would want to look up to and submit under their mentorship if possible, or reach out to them. And I know a lot of people that are willing and they're looking to mentor young boys or young people out there. Reach out to them and you'll be amazed at how people will respond. Lately, people are willing to help others. I think for a child in the village or in the rurals, because I've been there, all you want is this simple, basic life, like water, food, like simple resources. But obviously here it's very different. And come to think that when I first came to Johannesburg or Gauteng, there were things that you would have thought that a girl of 18 or 19 years should know that I didn't know. I'd never seen a traffic light, and we do have, but I know there's still kids out there that have never seen. It's just an imaginary traffic light. So for me, it's the basic, small little things. And I've seen how even here we're talking how kids should have tablets, like very high level technology things, technological gadgets and things. But I know a young person in the rural, they still would like to hold a book, and I know books are there, but it's either you hold it at school but not at home, because it's either you don't have that luxury to have a mini library or have a couple of books where you can select. So for me, it's just this simple day-to-day basic things that we take for granted that everybody should have, that people don't have. Look, yeah, I've been so blessed that even from the back in the day, I've always been very vocal, but obviously within the parameters of respect and discipline. And there's a lot of things that I've held back that I wish, if the platform would have allowed me, I could have done better. I could have spoken up. I could have called off certain things to say, but this is not correct. This is not how it should be done. What I've noted is that young people now, they've got the right platforms to raise their concerns, but also gear themselves up for such a brighter future. And yes, there's a very huge gap that most of them is not from a respect perspective. I still, even today, I still talk to my mom. I still have things that I would like to say to her, but because out of respect and how I was raised to say, but you cannot talk to your mom like that. Even today, I cannot tell my mom certain things or speak to her in a certain manner, because it's just not how I was raised. But I think for young people these days, if we ground it in respect, if the foundation is respect, honestly speaking, their voice is very, very much important, because their voice is the future. With us, a lot of things are getting outdated, but young people are paving the way for the future.